Ay, kaya na lang. Miss Rose, Nono, Lynn.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Do you know a certain Alvin Constantino?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
What is your relationship with Alvin Constantino?
He worked with me po.
As a chief of staff?
Yes po.
So, siya yung COS mo when you ran for congressional bid in Quezon City?
Now po.
Yes. And founder and leader of Confederate Sentinels of God?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And he also ran for councilor in District 6 in 2022.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
You know what, a certain Ted Lazaro
Yes, Mr. Chair.
is also your
Yes, Mr. Chair.
employee? Okay. Yung bang pangalan ng asawa mo is Sean Wei Lin or Lin Sean Wei. Alam mo, actually, nagugulo ako eh. Anong pangalan talaga?
Mr. Chair, yung last name po is Lin.
Lin.
Ang first name po niya is Wishong.
Wishong.
Yes po.
Okay, so kanina sinasabi mo, hindi siya Allan Lim, correct?
Yes po, Mr.
Okay.
Chair.
So, Wishong Lin. So, ang
Yes,
tawag mo
Mr.
sa kanya
Chair.
pag nasa bahay is Wishong.
May tawagan po kasi kami.
So, hindi. I mean, pag tinatawag mo siya ng pangalan niya, anong tinatawag mo sa kanya? Wi o Shong?
Wishong po talaga.
So, ganun. So, kasi Pilipino tayo, di ba? Usually, kapag tayo, Pilipino, sometimes we tend to call our husband or our wife, di ba, in a Filipino name. Really, di ba? Kasi Pilipino tayo eh. Alam mo, tawagan mong Wishong. Well, anyway, sa inyo yun. So, hindi siya talaga si Allan Lim.
No po, Mr.
Alright.
Chair.
So, yun nangyari dun sa 2002 ba yun? Yung sa Cavite? Hindi si, ano yun? Hindi si Wei Sean Lin. Hindi.
Hindi po si Lin Wishong po.
Yeah, according to you, di ba? Hindi siya. Okay. So, dun sa pagdating naman po sa negosyo nyo, kaya kayo nagkaroon ng maraming pera is because of the Pogo, correct?
Mr. Chair, bago pa po may Pogo, may pera na po ang asawa ko.
Okay.
Bago ko po siya nakilala, may pera na po siya.
Alright. So, meron siya nung Sean Wei technology.
Sean Wei Technology po.
And one of these Sean Wei technology is to service provider, di ba? Ng mga Pogo.
Master license po siya.
Master license.
Opo.
So, can you kindly educate me on that field?
Mr. Chair, ang involvement ko po sa Sean Wei is again po, sa back office po ako. Yung nag-aayos sa mga papers,
Hindi, tinatanong ko, tinatanong ko, yung
Sorry po.
Sean Wei technology.
Yes.
Siyempre, meron kayong 22, di ba? You have so many, 32 name of licensing nyo under your, Sean Wei. I think Sean Wei technology is one of those that was given yung mga subs licensee, correct?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
At nagbibigay kayo ng service provider ng technology doon sa Pogo. Tama?
Tama, Mr. Chair.
Okay. And one of those that you have given your services is yung Oroon Incorporated sa Cagayan de Oro.
Oro 1 po, Mr.
Oro
Chair.
1, yeah.
Opo.
And that is owned by Tony Yang.
Corporation po yun eh.
Yes,
Wala namang pangalan
pero
po ni Tony
si
Yang
Tony Yang,
doon.
Tony Yang, maestrado, di ba? Pakikita namin dokumento, kaso ang dami pa namin kakalkalin dito. But we know that Tony Yang owns etong Oro 1 Incorporated sa Cagayan de Oro. Ito yung ni-raid eh.
Cagayan de Oro.
Tama?
po.
Oh, yes, okay.
Pero I don't know po kung na-raid po sila.
Na-raid sila, nasa news. Hindi ka nagbabasa?
Start po no.
Oh, when was that, when yung sa Porac, when this was raided by PAGTANGGol and the DILG, were you aware of this raid in the Pogo in Porac?
Mr. Chair, nalaman ko lang po yun through news.
Do you have an interest in Pogo doon sa Porac?
No, Mr. Chair.
Are you sure?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Were there a time that you have asked your COS, Alvin Constantino, na tulungan ka na ilabas yung mga gamit sa Porac?
No, Mr. Chair. Wala
Was
po
there-
kaming business sa Porac
Was
po.
there no communication between you
No,
and
Mr.
Alvin
Chair.
Constantino
No, Mr. Chair.
that you are asking him to find someone from the PNP to help you in order to release all your things, documents, and pertaining to assets in the Porac, Pampanga?
No, Mr. Chair.
Are you sure?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Sige, I want to show you something. Can you show me figure 1, please? Ayan. Alvin, sino pwedeng tawagan sa Porac? Last time na binigay mo, okay naman. Pero this time, mga need namin kaming ilalabas. Hahanap po ako, ma'am. Then update ko po kayo. And that's Alvin Constantino. And magkano or kami na mag-uusap? Need ko ibang number. Pagpapakausap mo ako. Paggawa kay Ted. Di ba you remember Ted and Alvin? Correct?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Mr.
Copy,
Chair.
ma'am. Wait. I'm not done yet.
I'm
I'll
sorry,
give you time.
Mr. Chair.
Okay. Punta tayo sa figure 2. O, ito naman, kausap mo. Ma'am, can I have additional funds for me to be able to file a case? Alvin, gamitin mo na lahat ng connections mo. Busy kami. Yung negosyo namin sa Palawan, kailangan namin gawa ng paraan. Yung sa Clark, yung pinuntahan natin, inaayos na rin namin kasi may tip na ayon sa ang next na pupuntahan. Just call me. Anong need? Magkasama naman tayo mamaya. Figure 3. O, you texted him. Any update? Ma'am, hinintay ko po yung regional director ng Region 3. Sige, ASAP. Si General Rodelbia, paasap ng number sa Viber at para sa staff ko muna. Tatawag sa kanya. Copy, ma'am. Hanapin ko lang po. Contact number. Send ko sa iyo. And then lastly, Alvin, may papalangalan ako sa iyong properties. But we need to talk with my lawyers. Lahat ng mga negosyo namin need matago yung ibang mga properties. Dahil mag-start ng mag-freeze ng asset sa Porac. May advance info naman tayo. May time naman ako para itago yon mga asset. Ipasok ko sa foundation yung iba. Yes, ma'am. Just tell me all the details later sa virtual meeting. You can use me and Ted for your properties. So, are you going to deny this? Of course, right?
Mr. Chair, talagang i-deny ko po yan dahil wala pong katotohanan.
So, ito yung ano mo, yung Facebook?
Messenger. Mr. Chair, bigyan
Is
ko
that
po kayo.
your Facebook account Messenger? Is that yours? Yes or no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Oh, yes.
But, Mr. Chair, let me speak po muna kasi may one instance po na ginaya po yung messenger ko. Ginamit ang pangalan ko. Yes po, that's true po. Nireklamo
Nakita
po
mo yung
namin yan sa
profile pic
Facebook.
mo, Rose?
Yes,
Rose,
Mr.
ayun yung
Chair.
profile pic mo.
Tama po yan.
And all those in conversation with Alvin Constantino, that the same profile pic. Well, anyway, of course, you will deny it, correct?
Dahil hindi po totoo yan, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
Mr. Chairman, will be inviting over Mr. Alvin Constantino and Mr. Ted Lazaro in the next hearing, and for us to find out the veracity of the of all of this. Well, allegation din naman to, Rose.
Yes, Mr.
We
Chair.
have to find out the truthfulness, of this allegation as well. And how many licenses do you have? 35?
No, Mr. Chair. 1 licensee and 9 service provider.
Meron kayo meron kayo sa Cagayan, meron kayo sa Palawan, meron kayo sa Clarkfield.
Kapalawan, we don't have po.
Sa Mactan,
Mactan, mayroon po before.
Pasay,
Pasay, mayroon po.
Parañaque.
Paranaque, yes po.
Yes.
Mr. Chair.
You have, yes.
Thank you po. Mr. Chair, sakali po ba na mapatunayan ang ginamit po na messenger doon ay peke, maaari niyo po ba akong tulungan para ma-track po yon?
Sure.
Salamat
Rose,
po.
No, don't worry. We will be fair, transparent, and the very purpose of this hearing is to really find out the truth. Di naman po kami manggigisa ng tao dito kapag hindi po totoo. But of course, these documents that are being presented to us, the reason why we are trying to present this is to have the validation. Hindi naman po namin kayo pinipin down. But if ever na mapatunayan natin na hindi ito totoo, di mas maganda po para po sa atin lahat.
Salamat, Mr. Chair.
Alright. Okay, so, dito naman po, Mr. Chairman, no, kay, okay, kay Commissioner Paldon, kanina pa si Commissioner, former Commissioner ng Customs, sir, no?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Sir, kasi kanina, si Congressman Luistro, we're asking si Mr. Jimmy Guban about yung how it works doon sa custom. Can you kindly tell us, no? Kasi basically, meron naman kaming konting alam din, ano? Kapag nagdadak na po yung mga vessel. Kasi, Mr. Chairman, I really wanted to find out, no? Kung saan ang pinaguhugutan ng mga custom, kung paano nakakapasok itong mga container na sinasabi ni Mr. Jimmy Guban, na a lot of those containers, ang bilis nilang naitatago. So, from the docking ng vessel, ikaw bilang commissioner, what transpired once na they dock?
Sir, Mr. Chair, unang-una, since 2017, 5 commissioners has already succeeded me. So the concept of operation Mr. Jimmy Guban has stated, I am not sure if that is still the same concept of operation the 5 commissioners has succeeded me.
Wait, Commissioner, ang binabanggit ko po ganito. Once na yung cargo, dumating na po yung vessel. Dumating yung ship, andun yung cargo. Di ba, parang aeroplano, pag may cargo ka, pagbaba doon, di ba, unang-unang papasok sa aeroplano o kaya sa barko, syempre, yung quarantine, di ba? Pasok yung quarantine, doctor, tingnan nila. Pag wala, pasok na kayo mga custom, yung mga immigration, tapos yung mga custom inspector, tapos tinitingnan na nila yung mga sequencing ng mga kargong ilalabas. Kasi meron yung discharge ng mga cargo. So what happened? Kasi dito po natin makikita yung mga kargong ilalabas para makita natin, pag dadali sa warehouse, ano na nangyari? Doon nagkakaroon yung maraming sinasabi ni Jimmy Guban na nagkakabayaran di ba? Nagkakaroon ng proteksyon doon sa paglalabas ng cargo from the ship papunta sa warehouse. Ang tanong ko, since nandun na yung custom sa loob ng barko, halimbawa ilalabas, paano magko-commence yung operation on trying to get out all those cargos? Being the commissioner,
Sir, yung binabanggit niyang iba, nadatnan ko na yun doon, yung, let's say, yung green lane. Bago ka mapunta sa green lane, there's a vetting process. Ito yung sinasabi niya mga international cargos na, ano sila, yung napatunayan na silang mga honest na traders, sila yung nandun sa green lane. Kasi if you need to inspect every cargo, magtatagal po yun, magkakaroon po tayo ng congestion sa pier. So, ang ginagawa doon, ina-identify yung na-establish ng matitinong importers, sila yung napupunta sa green lane. May binanggit siyang red, at saka meron siyang binanggit na RMO, yung Risk Management Office, they're the ones managing the predetermination of these cargoes to be flagged para buksan siya. Kasi you cannot open all the cargoes So, yung napunta sa green lane, yun na yung hindi nabubuksan. Yung na-flag ng Risk Management Office na red, ito yung mandatory na inspectin. Yun po yung binabanggit niya kanina. And
So,
I think it's a good practice. Ngayon, yung binabanggit niyang banded warehouse, ito po yung mga nag-apply. Ang nag-approve po nito is up to the Secretary of Finance, na ito yung mga dinadala yung imported raw materials, they process it dun sa banded warehouse and send it back abroad. Ito yung mga walang tariff. I think there's a law that covers that. Usually nasa PESA po yun, PESA zones. Yun yung sinasabi niyang banded warehouses.
di ba, Commissioner, meron niyang tinatawag na manifestation, di ba? Kapag yung master of the ship, dala-dala yung manifestation, sigurado tayo na kapag binigay yung manifestation doon sa custom inspector, alam kung ilan yung ilalabas, alam kung ano yung bigat ng mga cargo. Am I correct?
Meron po talagang pre-shipment na documents. And ito yung ginagawa nung trabaho to ng mga brokers. And then ito yung ini-inspect ng bawat port. We have I think 36 ports nationwide. So may mga port collectors. Yan po yung primary job po nila under the new customs law. So the final authority to release every goods sa bawat port is that's the role of the
Pero yung sa manifesto,
collectors.
Hindi, sir. Sa manifesto, kasi yung manifesto yung magpapatunay kung ano yung mga cargo eh. 'Di ba? Ako yung ship master of the ship. Ako may control nito pati nung stowage plan. 'Di ba? Stowage plan. Kung ilan yung nakalagay ng mga cargo diyan. Alam ko yung weight niyan. 'Di ba? Kung alam ko weight niyan, alam ko kung ano yung stowage plan. Ito na yung manifesto. Ako yung may ship. Ibibigay ko na ngayon sa immigration sa custom inspector, 'di ba? Ngayon, anong gagawin nila doon sa cargo inilabas sila? Are they going to mag-ano uli sila, mag-weigh uli sila? 'Di ba dapat para makita mo kung may discrepancy? 'Di ba? Ginagawa ba niyo 'yon sa custom during that time?
Again, sir, that's the function of the RMO to predetermine kung ano yung i-flag nila at inspectin based on the manifest.
Paano nagbe-predetermine? Based on the manifest, and then paano mo i-check kung talaga yun yung weight ng lahat ng laman ng kargong yan?
Merong weighing scale doon talaga para pag napunta siya sa red, i-flag yan talaga, tapos i-inspectin niya ng port.
Pinapractice yan?
During my time, it's practiced.
Jimmy,
Your Honor.
pinapractice ba yan? Kaya para malaman natin, kasi meron ka allegation that 600 containers have been, nawala eh. Kaya nagtataka ako kung bakit ganong kadami ang nawawala. Sino may problema dito?
Your Honor, if I may, from the start, yung sabi niyo pong barko, nandiyan ang mga containers, pagdating po ng barko sa port, halimbawa Port of Manila, may team po yan. Customs, then immigration, quarantine, yan buo muna ang papasok. Pero before the arrival of the vessel, Your Honor, there was already an advance foreign manifest sa Bureau of Customs. So malalaman mo na po kung yung parating na barko, kung ano ang laman, kargamento. So yun po yung legal declaration from the port of origin. So, unti-unti, ang magtatrabaho na po ng mga container, kargamento sa vessel, ay yun naman pong ICTSI, yung port operator. So, wala pa po doon, Your Honors, yung custom.
Yeah,
Dahil doon pa lang yun, iba pa ho yung sabi. So, pagkababa po ng container, yung po papasok ang facilitator broker, magdi-declare sila ngayon from the foreign manifest, yung advance manifest, yung licensed broker o representative, magdi-declare po sila ng kargamento nila base po doon sa advance foreign manifest from the shipping line.
Okay.
So,
ang sinasabi mo, yung mga individual manifest, di ba? Yung foreign manifest na yun, nakukuha na nila. So, alam nila ito na darating.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Alam naman po.
Paano ang consolidated? Halimbawa, consolidated consignee, yung container.
Your Honor,
Do they have, ang tanong ko sa'yo, do they have separate na mga manifestation?
Your Honor, yan po yung iisa lang ang manifesto niyan galing sa port of origin. Halimbawa, isang consignee, ang nakalagay doon na container ay 5. In fact, minsan mayroon pa dahil may rider pa yan na isa or dalawa. So pagdating po doon, makikita po natin kung ilang containers sa isang consignee ang parating.
At kung consolidated siya, doon na nagkakaroon ng palusot.
Kung consolidated po, Your Honor, nakadeklara yun doon. Ngayon, pagdating po doon sa palusot, pagdating doon advance, nakapile na ng entry, ready na po yun, dire-diretso with gate pass na yun, nakapalusot na. Ibig sabihin, wala nang opening ng containers, diretso na yung palabas. Lalo na pag ito ay trabaho. Or, nakatimbre sa lahat, kunyaring nawawala ang container, pero trabaho yun. So, yan yung nangyari po sa maraming nawawalang container.
Nakuha ko na. So, in other words, Mr. Chairman, doon natin nakikita yung may problema. Most especially because Mr. Michael Yang is a consolidator. Am I correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. And being a consolidator of all these containers na dumarating, nakakapagpalusot sila eh. Dahil nga, walang individual manifestation ang lahat ng mga kargong yon. Consolidated na siya. And I try to have a research about this, Mr. Chairman. I found out that yung consolidation ng mga consignee, ng mga containers, meron silang isang manifestation lang. Kaya hindi mo alam, iba't ibang mga containers yun, iba-ibang cargo yun, pero kinonsolidate nila, kaya doon na nakakapasok yung mga palusot na sinasabi nila. Mr. Jimmy Guban, can you kindly correct me if I'm, kung mali ako. And after which, na malaman, yung ibang mga cargo doon ay walang individual manifestation, yun ngayon na nakakalusot na dinadala from vessel to the warehouse. Am I correct?
Yes, Your Honor, after filing of entries.
And doon nagkakaroon ng tinatawag na connivance ang warehouse owner and the warehouse inspector.
That's correct, Your Honor.
And then, after which, kapag meron ng connivance at ayaw magbigay, so stay ka dyan sa warehouse. Is this correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
And after which, na magkaroon ng ayusan, saka lang makakalabas yung mga container na yon.
Yes, Your Honor.
And then, maglalagay sila ng mga different kind of scheme, like footnote, yung tinatawag na foreign to foreign na ang tawag doon, foreign to foreign transshipment scheme.
International transshipment, Your Honor.
Yes, and yung tinatawag natin pass break.
Yes, Your
Di
Honor.
ba? I think, Mr. Chairman, ito isa sa mga problema that we need to correct in custom. Because we found out that yung manifestation, yung advance manifestation na nanggagaling doon sa ship owner, yun, kaya natin i-check. But ang problem, kapag nag-consolidate na sila ng kanilang mga tinatawag na mga container, doon na tayo napapalusutan. Doon na nalalagay itong mga droga. Kaya nga, consolidator si Michael Yang Doon niya nagawa, doon niya naitago, doon niya nailabas. With that, Mr. Chairman, I think maraming dapat ayusin sa custom. Specifically itong consolidation of the consignee containers. Kaya, for the meantime, Mr. Chairman, yun lang muna po ang itatanong ko. And I think I'd be asking na lang po mamaya afterwards. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chair, parliamentary inquiry, Mr. Chair. Parliamentary inquiry.
Congressman Adjong, yes.
Mr. Chair, yes, just want to inquire if we are going to shift to another topic.
Yes, we will. There are two more names
Okay.
listed as interpelators on the topic of
Okay,
dangerous
illegal
drugs.
drugs.
Then after this, we will now shift to the EJK.
Okay. Because I also have questions, but because in the interest of time, I will no longer be availing of that, and then I will just ask my question in the next hearing, particularly illegal drugs.
Yes, Your
topic.
Honors, we
Thank
still
you.
have several committee hearings of the Quad that we will
I was wondering,
schedule.
Mr. J, if you can list me as the first interpellator next hearing on
We
illegal
will
drugs.
do that.
Thank you,
Comsec,
Mr.
please
Chair.
take note. So the next, the second to the last interpellator is Congressman Rog Gutierrez, and then Congressman Caraps Paduano, and then last but not the least is Congressman Acop that will recap the discussion of the topic today on the dangerous drugs. So, Congressman Rog Gutierrez, you are recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair, just a few questions, and actually this could have been an interjection, just to clarify po, no? But I'd like to direct our questions to our guest, si Ms. Rose Nono. Good evening po. So, Mr. Chair, if all is well, I'll proceed with my questioning. Ms. Lin, good evening. Mr. Chair, just to clarify po, no, because I know you've been answering this previously already quite a lot, although I'd just like to clarify. To give context, your name was mentioned in the previously presented matrix, and it raises a lot of questions. Of course, that's a reason why we have this hearing, to really clarify po kung, especially to hear your side on these matters. My understanding, Mr. Chair, is that Ms. Lynn Orelgo was already asked about yung formally biological. No relation to formally pharmaceutical.
Yes.
However, is it correct to state that when you mentioned earlier that formally biological, what was the nature, just to clarify again, ano po yung nature ng formally biological corporation?
Ang nature po sana nun na magiging business nun ay magtatayo po ng laboratory sa paggawa ng gamot.
And this is no longer functioning?
No po.
You mentioned earlier that, I think one of the congressmen mentioned that there were links between formally biological to formally Philippines Holdings. You mentioned na wala pong link. Were you able to verify kung may link po?
Link po. Sorry, Mr. Chair. Pakiulit po ng tanong.
Sorry. were you able to verify? Because earlier you answered in the negative when you were asked po if there was any link between Pharmaly Biological, in which you are a incorporator po, no? And Pharmaly Philippines Holdings.
Mr. Chair, wala pong Pharmaly
Philippines Holdings.
Holdings po, wala po.
Mr. Chair, may we ask the Secretary to flash the first slide that we asked to be prepared?
Secretariat?
Based on the corporate records, and you admitted this earlier, that you are a treasurer po, no, for Pharmaly Biological. I'm not sure if it's clear in your screen po, but if you would see the sixth listed under the GIS, General Information Sheet for Pharmaly Biological, meron pong nakasulat na Pharmaly Philippine Holdings. Would you...
Mr. Chair, wala po talagang Pharmaly Holdings.
But this is an official record that you've submitted before the SEC.
No, wala po.
How do we verify? Mr. Chair, I suppose may we perhaps invite a representative from the SEC so that we can confirm this finally. But just to share with the research person, nandito po siya. And actually, can we move to the next slide, please? As we mentioned earlier, based on the articles of incorporation, you were designated as treasurer po for Pharmaly Biological.
That's true po,
And
Mr.
with that,
Chair.
you've executed this treasurer's affidavit.
That's true po.
And in the treasurer's affidavit, basically, this is proof that you have accounted for at least the old ruling that you need to have 25% of the stock to be subscribed to, and then 25% of that to be paid. That would necessarily mean po that you are aware of your stockholders.
I will check po sa records po namin, Mr. Chair.
Okay, but just to
Thank you.
clarify, this is an official record. And may we have the next slide, please? And yun po, lumalabas dun, based on Article 8, that there was in fact a Pharmaly Philippine Holdings. In fact, it is your majority shareholder with 10.3 million amount subscribed. And if we look at the other shareholders, and this is the initial po sa Articles of Incorporation po natin, lahat po nominal shares lang po. Are you sure you don't recall this corporation? This was there from the very beginning.
No, Mr. Chair. I'll double check po sa company
Okay.
papers po namin.
So, Mr. Chair, if that's the case, in your recollection, and to note po, no, it's interesting because it's Pharmaly Philippines Holdings, but it is a Singaporean corporation based on the records.
Mr. Chair, sa pagkaalala ko po, wala pong Philippine, Pharmaly Philippine po.
Opo. So maybe know from your recollection, how did you come into incorporating Pharmaly Biological
Ang
Corporation?
alam ko lang po sa Pharmaly Biological, lahat po ng incorporator po yan, walang company, lahat po tao.
Lahat po tao.
Yes po.
Okay. And the majority of the resources that was put up for the stock holdings would be from who was the largest
Individual po.
stockholder? Individual. I mean,
Yeah,
sino
yung
po?
Singaporean po, na si Mr. Wang.
So there was a Singaporean involved?
Yes po, may
Who-
Singaporean. Actually po, yan po ang naging lacking director po doon sa Pharmaceutical.
So you have an interlocking director,
Yes po.
itong Singaporean national.
Yes
But as
po.
of the incorporation of Pharmaly Biological, siya rin po, he was already there.
Yes po.
Siguro po, Mr. Chair, we really will need the SEC to confirm this po based on the documents that were provided. But anyway, thank you for that clarification. We'll move on to the next. As mentioned and has been established, you seem to be a very prolific entrepreneur po, no? You have a series of corporations that you have incorporated, and you mentioned that not all of them were active. But
Yes.
I'm sure that you're well aware that quite a few of the corporations were mentioned in that matrix that was presented prior, and that's what actually sparked this. We just want to go through them po to have an understanding. I know some of them were mentioned earlier, but just to go through them one by one para we have a clarification. Yung sa XRL Holdings po, this you mentioned was a family corporation, tama po ba?
That's right po, Mr.
And
Chair.
its primary purpose is to hold holdings in what industry? Or is this supposed to hold all of your investments?
Yeah, that's true po.
Yung XRL po, this is 60% owned by you.
Yes.
And the 40% is owned by the husband.
Yes po.
And XRL has holdings in what subsidiaries po currently?
Sa ngayon po, wala pa. Kasi inaayos pa po namin yan.
So XRL came after the other corporation. So you're going to be retrofitting na lang
Yes
po yung
po.
others.
Oo.
Okay, understood.
Aayusin na lang po para maayos yung setup.
We also mentioned that there was a Xiongwei Technologies. Ito po ba is in the field of Philippine offshore gaming? Is that
Yes
correct?
po, before.
Opo. Prior. It is not closed down. You have not liquidated yet, but you are no longer operating as there is no more or there is no license. Is that correct?
No po, close na po siya since 2023 pa.
As in wrapped up na rin po yung
Yes.
corporate papers and you've already
Ay, sa
liquidated.
corporate papers po, Mr. Chair, inaayos na po yun.
Okay,
Pero
so hindi pa.
pagkakalam ko, wala na siyang operations, wala na lahat.
Okay po. Just to clarify po, kasi there's a difference between operation ceasing and the ceasing of the corporate life po, no? So, tuloy pa rin po yung corporate life, wala lang operations.
Yes po,
Okay.
that's right po.
Thank you. And that correct po, 30% po kayo.
Yes po.
And you were in the back end.
Yes, until
And-
2021.
Sino po yung front end operator? Was it your husband?
Ang operator, yes po.
So husband niyo po is involved with Pogo.
Operations.
Opo. So he knows the ins and outs of Philippine offshore gaming operations.
Yes po.
Yes, he does. Do you know anything about the operations of Philippine offshore gaming operations or mostly doon ka lang po talaga sa permitting?
Doon lang po talaga ako sa mga documents and permits po.
Okay, sige. We'll go back to that later. Ms. Lynn, nabanggit rin po yung Paili Estate and Paili Holdings and you've confirmed that you have a part in this po, no? In fact, for Paili Estate, you have 25% stake. May we know po what is the nature of the Paili Estate company?
Mr. Chair, yung Paili,
Paili.
ang Paili Holdings po, ito po ay holdings lamang.
Sorry, just to clarify po, Paili Estate.
Paili Estate,
Yes po.
sorry. Ang Paili Estate po, ito po yung may mga formerly known po as naka-on po. Sorry. Mr. Chair, yung Paili Estate po, formerly known po siya as Paili Holdings.
Oh, so they're one and the same.
No po.
they're-
Formerly known po siya as
Formerly known?
Paili Holdings. Yes po. Ito po ay holding companies po siya.
Sorry, can you clarify? You mentioned that they formerly known as Paili Holdings.
Yes po.
But when I said they're one and the same, you said they're not.
No po.
So,
Kasi mayroon po talaga siyang Paili Estate.
formerly known as... So that means may dalawa pa po or isa lang po?
Actually po, ang Paili Estate Group of Corporation, formerly known po siya as Paili Holdings.
Okay, and the second corporation would be?
Paili Holdings Corporation.
Okay, so the group of company would be known as holdings and the isa estate naman.
Yes po,
Okay.
yes
So
po.
in any which case, both are now holdings. Is that what
Both
you're saying
are
now?
holding companies.
Both are holding companies. And
Yes.
ito po yung nabanggit earlier na mention sa Clark mega project
Yes
po
po.
ba? Okay. Thank you. And but you have a personal stake here po, no? 25%. Tama po ba? Okay. Thank you. Another corporation would like to go for yung Full Win Gaming Corporation. Is this familiar to you po, Ms. Lynn?
Sorry, Mr. Chair.
Full Win.
Full Win.
Opo. And it's correct that you have 30% stake in this?
Let me check po, Mr. Chair, ha. Yes, Mr. Chair.
And may we know the nature of the Full Win Gaming Corporation?
Mr. Chair, itong Full Win is non-operating companies po to since 2021 pa.
And ano po yung operations niya prior to the
No,
season?
wala po siyang operation talaga.
No operation at all?
No operation at all.
What was the intended industry po na papasukan po nila?
Dapat po ito yung Full Win, gagawin po ito dapat na holdings din po, holdings company. Ito dapat yung una.
Okay, the first holdings company.
Yes po.
Understood. Okay. And of course, we have pharmaceutical, biological, which you've already explained. As treasurer, gagawa po sana ng factory for
Yes
medical
po.
supplies. And then, of course, we have yung Golden 999. This is a real estate company, tama po ba?
Golden Sun 99
Golden Sun.
po, it's a warehouse.
Warehousing.
Na.
Okay po. And you have a personal stake of 15%.
Yes po.
Apo. So amongst these corporations, would you say the bulk of your income comes from the mentioned corporations, or kasi you and your husband seem to be very fond of holding corporations po, no? So usually that means korporasyon po ito na may pagmamay-ari ng iba't iba pang mga korporasyon. But at the end of the day, all of the financials would stem going upwards po, no? They funnel into these holdings corporations. Tama po ba?
We find, sorry,
No,
Mr. Chair.
yung any profit, any revenue that the subsidiaries make, in order for it to reach the intended or the end user, yung stockholder, dumadaan po ito sa holdings corporation. Yun yung
Supposed to be.
purpose.
Yes,
Supposed to be.
yun po yung plano.
That's
Na
the
dapat
plan.
sa holdings po
Yes.
dadaan. Kaya may holdings company.
So from the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mentioned corporations, would you say the bulk of your net worth, the bulk of your income comes from this? Or may corporations pa not mentioned in which you would credit most of your net worth po?
Actually, Mr. Chair, may mga corporations pa po kami.
And given these corporations, how much percent would you say from your net worth itong anim? Ballpark figure lang po siguro.
Hindi ko masasabi more or less, Mr. Chair.
You won't be able to tell if it's at least half of your net worth? 3/4?
Hindi ko masasabi, Mr. Chair.
And how many more corporations outside of these holdings companies would you say that you still have? Yung operating na lang po, para we have an idea of the revenue structure that you have.
Siguro may 2 o 3 pa, Mr. Chair.
2 or 3 specific corporations or holdings rin po sila?
Hindi po.
Specific naman?
Yes po.
And we don't have to clarify po, no, but just for an idea, ano po yung industry nitong 2 or 3?
Yung 3?
Yes, the
Real
industry.
estate po.
So mostly real estate rin
Yes
po talaga? Okay. But you have an idea out of the 2 or 3 versus the 6 that were mentioned, wala po tayong idea, although you mentioned that you're on more on the back end, who does your finances then po, ma'am?
Mayroon po kami tax lawyer.
The tax lawyer. So
Yes
as long
po.
as your only concern is pumapasok lang naman yung pera, you don't
Yes
really need
po.
to know which side
Yes
it's from.
po.
Which is understandable po, no? Kasi as a businesswoman, sa rami-daming korporasyon, it's understandable there are multiple streams of income. You might not necessarily be involved po with the specific. So that's perfectly understandable. But I ask this, Mr. Chair, because out of those mentioned, and I think this is just a repetition of what was mentioned earlier, yung Sean Wei, it was a Pogo operator. You also have the Pile Estate, which was linked to DCLA, Yangtze, and yung sa Cagayan de Oro, which was mentioned by Colonel Sherto. And of course, yung Golden Sun, which has been linked allegedly to the Shabu raid in Mexico, Pampanga. These are just some of the red flags that actually caused their inclusion in the matrix. So you just wanted to know, but our research person has repeatedly posited that she's only in the back end, and therefore she would not know the front, which is perfectly understandable. We just want to get that out in the open. No? So with that, Mr. Chair, I think, although we don't have the names specifically yet, we might have to ask for the actual members who are familiar with the operations. Perhaps we would like to invite them po, no, in our next hearing so that we can really clarify their links to the matrix. Moving forward, Mr. Chair. Moving forward po, no, siguro. One interesting that was mentioned in the matrix po is yung Seanway Technologies. And you mentioned po earlier that you were involved with the back end and the permitting. And this would involve permitting po sa PAGCOR. Would that be correct, Mr. Chair?
Yes, that's right
And
po.
please correct me if I'm wrong, we might be mistaken, but our understanding is when you have a parang master permit, master license for Pogo operations, if there are service providers, they piggyback on your license. Is that correct?
Yes po. At mayroon rin po silang sariling license na ini-issue
Yes.
po ng PAGCOR. Like for example po, I have this copy na para po ang license na ito ay sa master license po namin, which is Seanway. And mayroon rin pong license dahil mag-a-apply rin po ang mga service provider po namin sa PAGCOR. So
Absolutely.
they have their own license din po.
Yes. They have their own license, but of course, they have to be attached to a Pogo
Yes
operator.
po.
So in which case, the master license would be Seanway Technologies. And there were some that, I'm sure you're aware of them, they were mentioned in particular. Do you have any relation to Turquoise Diamond Technology?
Ano po siya? Service provider po siya ng master license po namin.
But I mean, do you have any personal relation? Do you have a
No
stock
po.
holding? Or do you have interlocking directors in some of your corporations?
I'm not sure, but I'll check po para hindi
Sige
po
po.
ako magkamali, Mr. Chair, kung okay
Opo.
lang.
Si Miss Amy Nono Clokigan is a relative of yours.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And are you aware that she is a stockholder of Turquoise Diamond Technology?
I'll check po, Mr.
Sige
Chair,
po.
sa documents.
Okay, we'll probably request po siguro from the SEC some of these documents just to show po na that there is a relation with Turquoise Diamond Technology. Yung Oro 1 po that was mentioned earlier, this was service provider. Are you familiar with Oro 1 Inc.?
I'm not familiar po kasi service provider lang po sila namin.
Okay po. And Shidai Keji, are you familiar with this service provider?
Shidai Kiji is one of our service provider.
Apa. Ms. Lynn, to the Honorable Chairman, of course, are you familiar with a John Stephen Locara?
I'm sorry po.
Are you familiar with a John Stephen Locara?
Alam ko po, isa siya sa incorporators.
Do you have a personal relationship with Mr. John Stephen Locara?
No, Mr. Chair.
None. Although this is a fellow incorporator in Turquoise and Brickheart. Speaking of, lapses, are you aware with Brickheart's technologies po ba?
I'm sorry?
Brickheart Technologies?
Isa po sa service provider
On the
po.
service providers.
Yes
And
po.
do you have any relation with any of the incorporators?
I think Robic, I'm not sure po kung sino sa mga pamangkin ko ang nandyan.
So
If
you
I'm
have a
not
relative,
mistaken.
perhaps?
If I'm not mistaken po.
Okay, thank you. This bears noting lang po, no, because amongst those mentioned, yung Turquoise Diamond Technology, Oro 1, and Shitai Keji were service providers that were located in the Baofu compound, which is more notoriously known to be linked to Mayor Alice Guo. So this is one more thing, right, it was mentioned in the matrix, so we wanted to clarify po any relationship that you might have. Lastly, Mr. Chair, just wanted to ask if you know a certain Jason Uson.
Jason Uson is one of the incorporators sa mga companies po.
In which companies po ba?
Nandun po siya sa Pile, nandun po siya sa Full Win, and nandun rin po siya sa holdings po.
Yung XLR?
Hindi po.
Which holdings po?
Pile
Holdings.
Holdings at saka Pile Estate.
And estate.
Yes po.
In fact, he is the president of Piley Holdings or estate po ba?
I'm not sorry po, hindi ko lang matandaan kung siya po ba sa Pile Estate or sa Pile Holdings.
But we confirm that he is a president.
I'm not sure po. I'll check po.
Okay,
Para hindi
sige.
ako magkamali, Mr. Chair. Pasensya po.
Do you have a personal relationship? As mentioned earlier, as a businesswoman, usually you would try to get to know the people that you will be getting in business with. And it seems to be si Mr. Jason Uson is one such person that you have business on a regular basis. So would you say, how long have you known Mr. Jason Uson?
I know him around if I'm not mistaken, 2016.
2016. And since then, you've been business partners?
Yes po.
Is he someone knowledgeable in the operations in these
The same lang po
operations?
siya sa akin. Nasa back office po kami.
back office po.
Yes po.
Because I'm sure you've seen the matrix and there seems to be a comparison that Mr. Jason Uson allegedly would be your counterpart if there is Ms. Rose Nono Lin for the 60%, understandably, of your husband. We have Mr. Jason Uson who holds 60% on behalf of the Michael Yang companies. Would you know anything to that extent?
I'm not sure po, Mr. Chair.
But you mentioned that you've met Michael Yang previously and you're aware of who he is.
I met Michael Yang year 2013.
2013 po.
Yes po.
And just for the record po, Mr. Chair, si Mr. Jason Uson is also a incorporator for Yangtze and DCLA, which is a company that was mentioned to have problems related to the drug trade. Thank you very much, Ms. Lin. Just to
Thank you
clarify
po.
lang
Thank you,
po
Mr.
yung mga
Chair.
corporation na that. Mr. Chair, I hope that we will be able to invite Mr. Jason Uson, perhaps also Ms. Amy Nono Cloquigan, Mr. Jan Stephen Locara. And I think we would also like to ask siguro si Ms. Lin to provide us a list of yung, because you mentioned ang alam niya lang po is the back end of these operations. But at least for XRL, Shongwei, Piley, Fullwin, Pharmally Biological, and Golden Sun, perhaps we can ask po si Ms. Lin to provide us a list kung sino yung supposedly executive officer or yung may alam po sa operation, and then perhaps we could invite them should the committee decide. Yun na po. And Mr. Chair, with that, I will be concluding my questioning and be yielding to other interpellators. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Gutierrez. Comsec, please take note of the request of Congressman Gutierrez. So, the next to interpellate is Congressman Paduano. And last is Congressman Ako. So, Congressman Paduano. Yeah, Congressman Paduano. Congressman Paduano, you're recognized. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Anyway, just a short rejoinder with regards to the statement made by the former DG Wilkins. DG Wilkins, you mentioned that certain Allan Lin and Lee Wen Chong is not one and the same.
Mr. Chair, kasi nakakuha ako ng...
Hindi, ano lang po, yes or no lang po muna. Before you explain.
Sa image
Do you
identification...
confirm? Sandali po, ang question ko kasi, do you confirm that you have a conclusion that Lee Wen Chong and Allan Lin is not one and the same? Yes or no lang po?
Sa image identification, Mr. Chair, I confirm na hindi sila pareho.
Now, ang tanong, dito, saan na pa nakita mo?
Yes, Mr. I have that... Actually, Mr. Chair, ako yung gumawa ng image na yan eh. Yung nasa inyo ngayon, yan yung ipinresent ko, Mr. Chair, sa Malacanang. So, pinagkumpara ko lang naman yung dalawa, Mr. Chair. Napakalaki ng diferensya.
Hindi, ganito po. Do you have an holdings during your time with Allan Lin?
Come again, Mr. Chair.
Do you have holdings with Allan Lin and Lee Wen Chong?
Yung kay Allan Lim, Mr. Chair, yun yung involved siya dun sa clandestine laboratory ng Cavite. Kay Lee Wei Chong, Mr. Chair, wala akong idea.
Hindi, kaya nga eh. Kaya nga, just like kay Michael Yang, wag muna mag-conclude. Diba? That is not conclusive kasi ang katulad kay Michael Yang now, there are proof, no? When we started investigation in my committee, doon sa Mexico, Pampanga, and then consequently, may investigation din doon sa dangerous drugs, lumabas na yung mga pangalan nila, pati yung initial na matrix, no? Kaya, pumunta sa dulo, doon yung Michael Yang, which says connected with Eddie Tayang and Willie Ong. Doon po sa warehouse na ka-recover.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kaya, I suggest the DG Wilkins, kindly please be diligent enough, no? Ingat lang po sa mga statements natin.
Yes, Mr. Chair, sa ngayon, with what happened sa Congress, I believe Michael Yang is in...
No, I'm talking about Michael Yang, tapos na po yun. You have already admitted kanina na during your time, wala kang holdings, but this time, medyo mayroon na.
Yes,
Tama?
Mr. Chair.
Kaya,
Yes, Mr. Chair.
the same is true with Allan Lin, please.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Para at least malinaw lang kasi yung mga statements mo mukhang conclusive.
Yes,
Doon sa
Mr.
nakita mo.
Yes, Mr.
Diba?
Chair. Yes.
Now, DG Lasso, with regards to Allan Lin and Lee Wen Ching, may ano ba kayong holdings?
Your Honor, we were able to talk to a confidential informant. He's a reliable informant. When he talked to us, he hasn't even seen the presentation of Colonel Asierto before the Committee on Dangerous Drugs. When we took down what he was telling us, it confirms to some of the statements of Congressman Asierto. So,
Colonel Asierto.
sorry, Colonel Asierto, Your Honor. Like for example, Your Honor, according to our informant, Allan Lin, whose picture was identified by Miss Rose Lin as his husband, her husband rather, uses the names of Allan Lin, Allan Lim, Jeffrey Lin, Jeff Lin, Ayong, Wei Xiong Lin, Lin Wei Xiong, Lin Wei Xion, Wen Li Chen.
Mr. Chair, is Rose Nono Lin listening to what General Lasso is saying? Are you listening to what General Lasso is saying?
Sorry po.
Did you also kindly repeat the holdings that you have with regards to Allan, Lin, and Lee Wencheng?
Yes, Your Honor. According to our informant, who is a very reliable informant, Allan Lim uses several names. Allan Lin, Allan Lim, Jeffrey Lin, Jeff Lin, Ayong, Wei Xiong Lin, Lin Wei Xion, Wen Li Chen. These names all are confirmed by the different statements being heard over before the Quadcom now, Your Honor.
Have you coordinated with other intelligence agencies, especially the ISAP and NICA, with regards to the identity of the mentioned names?
No, Your Honor, because they have no holdings. We don't have holdings. PNP also doesn't have holdings on these names. So we just relied on this informant that we had. And later on, when Colonel Asierto came out before the Committee on Dangerous Drugs, nagtugma po. So naku-confuse po talaga tayo. But we are only talking of one and the same person. Allan Lin na kinonfirm ni Mrs. Rose Nono Lin na husband niya.
Okay, Mr. Chairman, at least may initial na information na tayong hawak. Now, Miss Rose Nonolin,
Yes,
you
Mr.
mentioned
Chair.
that your husband is a Chinese national, di ba?
Yes po.
Okay. So, he is based in Hong Kong.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
When was the last time that he traveled from the Philippines going to Hong Kong?
May 2024 po, Mr.
May
Chair.
2024, and until now, hindi na siya bumalik.
Hindi pa siya nakabalik. Yes po.
In your information, based on your discussion, is she familiar with the investigation going now with the Quadcom?
Alam niya po.
Alam niya. So, most probably, if we issue a show cause order for him today, he might be present in the next hearing.
I don't know po, Mr. Chair. Hindi ko po masasagot.
Husband mo yun.
Mr. Chair, hindi ko naman po hawak yung isip ng husband ko. Hindi ko po alam kung ano yung isasagot po niya.
So, anyway, so you confirm that Hong Kong based siya.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Siguro naman kung Hong Kong based siya, he has some, except for the passport, he has some government ID in Hong Kong.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Ano yung mga IDs niya?
May driver's license po siya.
Hong Kong issued.
Yes. Yes po.
Ano pa po?
May Hong Kong ID po siya.
Hong Kong ID din.
Yes po. Yan
Ano lang,
po
Mr.
ang
Chairman,
alam ko.
kindly submit na lang po all the identification cards, government IDs of your husband in Hong Kong. Kindly submit po sa committee secretary. Just to confirm po.
Yes, Your Honor. Ms. Lin has committed that she will submit the documents requested by Congresswoman Jinky with respect to the identity of Mr. Lin Wei Xiong.
Yeah, but I have heard also that the Honorable LUISTRO asked for the birth certificate. But what I am asking now is the government ID issued to the husband of Rose Nonolin in Hong Kong. And he mentioned about the driver's license. Ano ba po?
Driver's license po and then Hong Kong ID po.
Please, submit na lang po sa committee. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, thank you, Congressman Paduano. And last, to interpolate...
Mr. Chair,
La
very quick. Just to complete the documents which are being requested.
Just make it quick, Congresswoman.
Yes, Mr. Chair. May I move that we request also with the Bureau of Immigration for travel records for the past 10 years of one Allan Lim, one Wen Li Shen, and one Wei Xiong Lin. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Congresswoman Jinky. ComSec, please take note and coordinate with the agencies concerned. Now, the last to recap the...
Your Honor,
Yes.
according to our informant, we don't have information that he uses a Chinese passport. But he is Chinese, obviously. But to our informant, he holds a Vietnamese, Burmese, and Cambodian passports.
He holds 3 passports.
According to our informant, Your Honor,
This Allan Lim.
the same, Allan Lin.
Okay.
He was never mentioned to be holding a Chinese passport.
So are you saying, DG, that pagka pumapasok siya rito, ang gamit niya any of these three passports?
Possible, Your
But using the same name?
It doesn't. The informant did not mention the names that he is using in the 3 passports that he named, Your Honor.
We will probably coordinate with the Bureau of Immigration. Thank you for that information. Now, si Congressman ako, to recap the deliberations on the topic of the dangerous drugs, the chair would like to recognize Congressman Akop. You have 10 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I proceed, may I ask Madam Lin?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Is your husband charged with any criminal offense?
No, Mr. Chair.
No. Then, therefore, there's no reason for him not to be able to attend the hearings of this committee. Tama po ba?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Tama?
Yes,
Kung wala
Mr.
siyang
Chair.
kinakatakutan, dapat umapir siya rito, as you are claiming.
Tama po.
Thank you. And therefore, if we issue an invitation, we can course it through you.
Pwede po.
Pwede. Ang hindi mo lang sinisiguro kung tatanggapin niya at dadalo siya rito.
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Ay di, sabi mo sa kanya na, Juan, huwag ka nang umuwi rito sa akin. Hindi mo ba pwedeng sabihin yun?
Mr. Chair, baka totohanin nun at wag na uuwi dito.
So
sa
takot
akin.
ka, naiwalayan ka.
Mr. Chair, kawawa naman po yung mga anak ko.
Thank you. Biro lang yun, Iha. Is Colonel Asierto still with us? Ed, are you still with us?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes,
when
sir, yes,
did
sir.
you
Present,
when
sir.
did you make that controversial report?
I think, sir, is September 2017.
2017. Okay. Thank you. I'll get back to you. Now,
Yes, sir.
Mr. Paul Gutierrez, still around?
Yes, Mr. Chairman.
Doon sa interchange ninyo, either you or Mr. Guban would be lying. Tama po? Kasi wala naman kayong
Tama po.
witness na magsasabi o ipapakita na ikaw ang nagsasabi ng totoo, di ba?
Tama po, Mr. Chairman.
So kami na nandito ngayon, sa committee na to, we rely on the, shall we say, reasonableness of your answers. Tama?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Tinanong ka kanina, in your more than 10 years of covering the Senate, ang sagot po ninyo minsan nyo lang nabisita yung isang witness na contempt at na-detain. Tama po?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
So, there must be something special para bisitahin mo si Mr. Guban sa kanyang detention center. Tama po?
Tama po, Mr. Chair.
Yes. So, para sa akin, I would go with the conclusion of the Honorable Pimentel na I see no reason why you should go there just to get a scoop as you have reasoned a while ago.
Yes.
Have you worked under Mr. Benny Antiporda?
No, Mr. Chairman.
No. Pero parehas kayo nag-practice sa media.
That's right, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Mr. Antiporda, kayo po bang may-ari ng kwan? Ng remate ngayon?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And you acquired it from former Councilor Pichay. Tama? Ay, Congressman Pichay.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Yes. Pero kayo po, bilang media practitioner, just like maybe Mr. Paul Gutierrez, nagpapatrolya rin po kayo, bumibisita sa customs. Would that be correct?
Nung nasa bit pa po ako.
Hindi, sakutin nyo lang po ng yes or no dahil... tama po?
Mr. Chair, pwede ho mag-explain ng konti? Dati po kasi nasa anti-smuggling po ako nung napunta ho ako sa gobyerno, kaya nakikita rin po ako sa customs dati. But nung wala na po ako ron, hindi na po ako pumupunta ng customs.
So, after leaving the media, hindi na po kayo naging player sa customs?
I'm not in any way a player of customs. I'm an operative year 2007 po.
Operative ng?
Presidential Anti-Smuggling Group po. Director po ako noon ng SOG.
Oh, kasi may nag-text sa akin na aking bubuwit eh. Yun po ang sinabi. Now, Gerald Wilkins, may I know how long or what was the first time that you were assigned to PDEA?
Since 2022, Mr. Chair. At 2002, Mr. Chair.
2002. And when did you become the head of PDEA?
2020, Mr. Chair.
2020. Okay. Thank you. Kasi, itong istoryang ito ay isang istorya ng 5 magkakaibigan na parehas ang trabaho. They were working for government. Si Colonel Asierto, si Captain Pirote, si Colonel Fajardo, Mr. Guban of Customs, at isang PNCO named Jerry. They knew each other because of their work. But because of a life-changing report made by Colonel Asierto, where he made some allegations insofar as the former mayor and former president is concerned. Would that be correct, Colonel Asierto?
Yes, sir.
Yes. May I know why you made that report?
Because that is my duty, Your Honor, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. As a police officer, I received an information, raw information. I validated the information. Then, after validation, I made the proper report.
And in that report, you alleged that former President Digong was connected with individuals connected or involved in illegal drug activities. Persons you were referring to were a certain Mr. Michael Yang and Mr. Allan Lin. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor, but on my first report, there is no mention of the name of President Duterte. The name of President Duterte was included on my second report that I submitted to then Chief PNP Oscar Albayalde.
Thank you. And these reports were, the first one was submitted to then General De La Rosa, the Chief of the PNP. The second report was submitted to General Albayalde, also a former Chief PNP. Tama po?
Yes, sir. Tama po, sir.
And would it be correct na because of that report, former President Digong's reaction was to publicly condemn you, even calling for your death and for associating him with illegal activities, including the alleged sale of 1,000 plus AK-47s to the New People's Army. Would that be correct?
Yes, sir, including the 10 million bounty on my head.
Yes. And therefore, would you agree with me that that statement implies a personal vendetta against you for your allegations?
Yes, sir.
And because of that also, na-filean ka ng kaso for the sale of the AK-47s and for illegal drugs?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Now, we go to the role of Jimmy Guban. Jimmy Guban, you're the Customs Intelligence Officer working with Colonel Asierto, Captain Perote, Colonel Fardo. Tama po?
We are working together, Your Honor.
I beg your pardon?
We are working together, Your Honor.
Yes. Kasi isa yung linya ng trabaho nyo.
Opo, Your Honor.
But because, according to your statements doon sa unang hearing na napunta ka sa dito, sinabi mo na because of fear, inamin mo doon sa hearing, doon sa Senate, na you accused Colonel Asierto of masterminding a 13 billion shabu shipment in magnetic lifters. And you testified that Asierto facilitated the shipment but later tipped of authorities to intercept a part of it. Would that be correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes. And because of this, that controversial report of Colonel Asierto, your colleague, si Captain Perote, a retired investigator, was allegedly killed due to similar reports he filed implicating Mr. Yang and Mr. Lim. Colonel Asierto, would that be correct? Ed?
Sir, nawala po. Tama po yun, sir.
Yeah. Pinatay si Lito Perote, yung kasamahan ninyo, because of alleged similar reports he filed implicating Mr. Yang and Mr. Lim? Would that be correct?
Yes, sir. Siya po yung...
Now, I do not know if this is violated. There were reports that the skeletal remains of Perote were discovered inside a drum in 2019. Allegedly, a DNA was conducted, but the results were never released. Were you knowledgeable about this?
No, sir.
No.
No, sir. Hindi ko po alam, sir.
Okay. Pero may report na ganon. Now, Colonel Asierto, you joined the anti-illegal drug task force of the PNP in 2003. Tama po?
Yes, sir.
Yes. And this task force was made because wala na yung NARCOM. Because of the PNP law passed in 1990. Tama?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Tama po, sir.
Yes. And you stayed with this task force up to 2017.
Actually, sir, I was relieved 2012. Then I returned on sa 2017, sir.
Yes. As the Deputy for Administration.
Yes, sir.
Yes. Unfortunately, in 2016, the former mayor of Davao became the president.
Yes, sir.
And in 2018, because galit na galit siya sa iyo at nagkaroon ng allegations na involved ka sa drugs, nagkaroon ng Senate hearing in 2018.
Yes, sir.
Tama? And the accusations...
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And the accusations against you were the mastermind of the 13 billion shabu shipment in July, 2.4 billion shipment at the MICP or Manila International Container Port, stuff inside abandoned magnetic lifters, and 11 billion of missing shabu suspected to be packed in similar magnetic lifters found in Cavite. Ito po yung charges sa iyo, di ba?
Opo, sir. Yes, sir.
And this was testified to also by your friend, Mr. Guban.
Yes, sir, and I think he recanted, sir.
Yeah, I know. In a court hearing, I was informed that Mr. Jimmy Guban recanted all his statements implicating you during that Senate hearing in 2018. Tama?
Yes, sir.
Now, may I know the reason why in one of your statements, sinabi mo na ang real drug lords are Mr. Allan Lim and Mr. Michael Yang? May I know the basis of your statement? Or how did you come to know about this?
It was relayed to me by my reliable informant, sir, na they are involved in the shipment of the illegal drugs, especially during the time of President Duterte. And all the drugs are coming through the Bureau of Customs.
Thank you. And Jal Wilkins Villanueva, you were with PIDEA in 2002 and you became the head in 2020. Tama po?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And during that stint of yours, have you ever heard of the involvement of Mr. Michael Yang and Mr. Allan Lim sa illegal drugs?
Only Allan Lim, Mr. Chair, and not no Michael Yang, Mr. Chair.
Up to 2022, when you became the PIDEA head?
Yes, Mr. Chair, kasi wala,
kasi,
hindi
siguro,
ko,
sige.
kasi sir, wala ako natanggap na information, Mr. Chair, eh.
Ay, napakahina ang information nyo ng ng PIDEA because in 2010, I became a congressman and 2016, nandito ako, alam ko na na-involved si Michael Yang.
2016, Mr. Chair, is nasa Region 10 ako, Mr. Chair.
Kaya nga, sinasabi ko nga, from 2002 up to 2022, nasa PIDEA ka.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
And yet, you tell me na hindi ka man lang nakareceive ng information ng involvement ni Mr. Yang, specifically from 2016 to 2022 dahil takot kayo na maglagay ng report na si Mr. Michael Yang ay involved sa illegal drugs. Why? Kasi alam ninyo na malapit siya kay former President Digong. Lahat naman kayo nun, takot yun. Takot kayo eh. And do not tell me na hindi totoo yun. Kaya ngayon nga lumalabas ito eh. Dahil ngayon, ang mga tao hindi takot. And now, hanggang ngayon, takot ka pa rin. Tapos pinagyayabang mo, you have a name to protect for your children. I do not believe that. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Yeah, thank you, Congressman Akop. Are you? So, Congressman Abante, you're recognized.
Yes. Our next topic actually now is EJK, no? And to start the ball rolling, we would allow former Senator Lael de Lima for her short presentation. But while she is preparing, I just would like to ask, finally, I just would like to ask certain questions to Ms. Rose Nono Lin, no? While our good Senator De Lima is preparing. Kailan kayo huli nagkita ni Lee Wenxiong?
November 1 po.
November 1.
This holiday.
So hanggang ngayon di pa kayo nakikita, no? From November 1.
Yes po, ilang araw pa lang naman po
Okay,
nakalipas.
hindi mo rin alam kung kailan siya uuwi.
Yes po, Mr. Chair.
Therefore, maaaring tumagal pa bago siya umuwi, correct?
Hindi ko po masasagot kung maaring tumagal pa
Oo,
o...
maaaring tumagal o hindi.
Yes
Di ba?
po.
Okay. So, ibig sabihin, sa hindi niyong pagkikita ng mga ilang linggo, maaari mo ring sabihin na hindi mo masyadong kilala ang asawa mo.
Mr. Chair, hindi naman...
Kilala mo ba siya?
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kilala mo ang lahat ng kanyang business transactions?
Hindi po.
Wala siyang tinatago sa'yo? Sinasabi ba siya sa'yo lahat? Hindi.
Mr. Chair, kung ano po yung gusto niya sabihin.
Kaya nga, yes or no lang. Kilala mo ba siya talaga? Sapagkat hindi naman kayo nakikita palagi. Oo. Alam mo ba lahat ng kanya business transaction? Oo.
Hindi
Alam mo
po,
ba
Mr.
kung
Chair.
meron siyang girlfriend sa abroad?
Hindi po, Mr. Chair.
Oo. Chinese siya eh.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kilala ko po ang Chinese eh. Oo. Ang Pilipino nga, hindi nakakapagtago. Chinese pa kaya? Di ba? Oo. Okay. Governor. Oh, hindi ko ba ibig sabihin, meron kang mga ilang bagay na hindi mo alam sa iyong asawa. Correct? Tama ba ako?
Tama, Mr. Chair.
Ayun, okay. So, ibig sabihin, pinapatunayan lamang dito na hindi mo siya kilala 100%, hindi mo alam lahat ang kanyang business transaction. Correct?
Yes,
Tama.
Mr. Chair. Hindi ko alam
okay.
lahat ng business
Now, ang
transaction.
pangalawang tanong, ito Okay. Sayang mo kanina, kilala mo si Michael Yang.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Kasama siya sa korporasyon ninyo.
Yes, Mr. Chair.
Okay. Ano ang palagay mo sa testimony ni Jimmy Guban at ni Asherto tungkol sa involvement ni Michael Yang sa drugs?
Mr. Chair, hindi po ako pwede magbigay ng comment about Michael Yang kasi hindi ko naman siya personally kilala.
So,
Kung ano
hindi
yung mga
mo rin
ginagawa
alam.
niya.
Katulad ng hindi mo alam lahat ng business transaction ng iyong asawa, hindi mo rin alam ang business transaction ni Michael Yang. Tama, mali?
Yes, Mr. Chair. Hindi ko po
Okay,
alam ang business transaction
Mr. Chair,
ni
yun lang po ang
Michael
aking
Yang.
tanong.
Para sa iba pang karagdagang mga balita at impormasyon, ay huwag po nating kalimutang mag-like, share at comment sa video na ito, at huwag po rin nating kalimutang mag-subscribe to continue supporting us. Maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood, at naway tangkilikin po ninyo ang aming YouTube channel.